Hello, today we are going to begin our base of our whistles. So we're going to focus on making that dome kind of shape that we built our plans off of. So to begin, for our tools, we're going to need a rolling pin, 2 sticks, a smoothing tool, and then a fork or needle tool, and then a water cup as well as a placemat. Then you're going to head to the clay cart and you're going to grab 1 ball of clay out of the white bucket. This again is just for your pinch pots. So if you want to make more than one, challenge yourself to make a really small one, you're going to have to break off a chunk of this piece right away and set it aside. But if you want to make a slightly larger one like this here, then you're going to just keep it all as one chunk. No matter what, you need to smack it back and forth a little bit to get rid of the air bubbles. It always looks like I'm going really fast, but I'm just kind of slowly smacking it back and forth, just trying to squish out any air bubbles inside there. Then I give it a slight little roll to kind of round it off. And then I take my thumbs up dude, push it in, making sure I don't push all the way through. Then I begin kind of pushing and pinching and pulling this to make it bigger. I want to be careful to go kind of slow. If I go too hard, I'll get some cracks. If you see that, you can just get a little bit of water on your fingers and kind of rub them away. So I just kind of keep working on this to make it a little bit bigger. My goal is to kind of stop when I get about the thickness of my finger there. So now I'm kind of using like a swimming motion with both my fingers inside there. Also kind of going across the bottom, just stretching it out as much as I can. Okay, that looks pretty good, I'd say. It's about the thickness all around. Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside. Keep in mind, if this gets kind of flat here, you can try to re-round it by pushing from the inside, or we can always add more clay on it later to change that shape. So I'm going to set that aside now, and I'm going to go get another chunk of clay from the bigger bucket on the clay cart. Once again, smack it around a little bit. Then I'm going to set it on my placemat. I'm going to take my sticks, put them on each side. I'll give it maybe 1 or 2 more pounds with my hand, not the stick. And then when it's somewhat flat, I'm going to stand up and kind of roll down with all my muscles. When I've rolled it all the way, it should then just be rolling smoothly on the sticks. Okay? The goal is just to make it big enough to be able to fit your pinch pot on it. Then you take that needle tool, cut right around it. And sometimes I'll cut it off like that too. Okay, set that aside. Now, in order to make sure these don't come apart, I have to remember to score them together. So to do that, I take either my fork and scratch around the 2 edges that meet, or I could even use the needle tool again and do some little scratches with that. No matter what, you want those scratches to be fairly deep so that way they don't disappear when we put the water on them. And when we do the water, we're just dipping our fingers in and gently going over those scratches. Want to make sure you don't get rid of them. By doing this, remember, it's kind of like creating glue for our clay. So now I line up those scratches, gently push them together. But I want to be careful because this is empty in the inside here, so if I push too hard, it might squish it. Now, I could either use my fingers to go around and smooth this, or I could use the smoothing tool. And I can just go right around, trying to get rid of that seam where the 2 meet. Okay, again, you want to be careful not to push too hard because we want this bottom part to stay really flat. That will make it easier for our ramp that we'll be working on next week. So once you get those 2 put together, then you're going to just gently set that on your yellow tray. And then the last thing you need to do for today is to go get another chunk of clay. And this time you're going to, you just need a smaller chunk. You're going to kind of squeeze it in your hands a little bit, almost like we're starting to make a coil like we did when we made our coil pots. Once I get it about, the thickness of a couple fingers, then I'm going to actually set my placemat aside a little bit, because I want to be able to just gently set this on the table. Now if I throw it too hard, it's just going to stick right to it. But if I just gently pick it up and set it down, and I keep turning to each side, you're going to notice that it's going to start to turn into like a cube, like a rectangle cube. See how I'm getting it nice and smooth on each side? I want to do that a little bit more until I get it nice and compact. And then I kind of want to make sure it's staying about the thickness of my finger. Ultimately, we're going to be putting a popsicle stick through this, so you just have to make sure that there's a little bit of room on both sides. So I couldn't go any thinner than what I have right here. The good goal would be about maybe 2 fingers, but you could go down as far as 1 finger even. So once when I get it kind of flattened on all sides, I just simply cut it so it's a good shape. Now it's not too skinny on either side. And then what I need to do is scratch this. And then when you add it onto your dome here, it's just really important that we put it lined up with the bottom. So if I hold it sideways here, you can see if I add it right there, it's going to be level with the bottom. Now if I were to put it up here, that's not the case. Look at all this extra space under here from the bottom. That would make it really hard to make it whistle. So you just need to make sure that it's lined up really well. Once you figure out your spot, do your little scratches. Put your water on it, water on these, and then just gently kind of twist it on. And then again, either use your finger to smooth it into it, or then grab that smoothing tool and one last time smooth that connection to the dome as nice as you can. This is where I would like you to stop for the day if you get to here. So after this point, you can either clean up and put away your tools, or you can go grab some more clay and just begin kind of experimenting with some of your eyes, your ears, your horns, your tails, whatever else you might need to start making for your design. Another thing you could do is go grab some more clay, roll some clay out, and you could start adding some textures to it to start exploring some different ideas that you might need to use later. So these tools, you just roll on them to create a texture. The shells you would just push on. These texture kind of stamps, again, you just kind of push onto it. And then I have a couple different sizes of these roll ones where you would just roll the texture right on your clay. And then I have in this box some smaller versions of that too. So feel free to kind of play and explore some of the extra tools over there once you get your dome and mouthpiece finished. All right, good luck, have fun.